As previously mentioned, the end goal is to build a corporate website. The corporate website that we're going to be building is for a fictional company called Home Builder. Before we actually get started, there's a couple of things that we need to make sure you've got. First, you need to make sure you've got a fresh install of Joomla 2.5 without the demo content installed. If you're unsure how to do this, please take a quick look at our How to Install Joomla tutorial before you go any further. Secondly, we need to grab that third-party template that we're going to be using to build our website. To do this, you're going to navigate to utheme.com and click on Themes in the main menu. From the Themes page, you want to click on Downloads. Now you can see on the download page that there's a whole bunch of different templates. Utheme is a template club. We're going to be using their free master template. Now this master template is actually used to create all the templates that you see here. So if there's any question on how far you can go with your template once you've learned the basics, this gives you an idea of where you can go. To download the template, simply click on the Warp Master Theme icon, and we want to download the Joomla 2.5 template. Simply click on Download to achieve this. Once it's downloaded, keep it in a safe spot, and we're going to install it a little bit later once we get started. Now that we've downloaded our third-party template that we're going to be using, let's take a quick look at the site that we're actually going to be building. As we're building our website, you're going to notice that a lot of the text looks like Latin. This is actually called lorem ipsum. All it is filler text. Since we don't have any actual content for our website, we want to see how it's going to look. Another thing that you'll notice is that when you're uploading your images, some of the images only appear as a square with an X through it. That's simply because I don't have license to redistribute those images. If you're looking for some excellent icons and images, check out vectorstock.com as well as iconfinder.com. Let's review the main page, shall we? As you can see, we've got a logo, a main navigation, a search, some social icons, and those are all located up in the header area. Right under the main menu, we've got a header graphic. Below that, we've got some main page text with a client login to the right. Below the main content, we've got 3 separate information modules, and below that, we've got a little featured box that shows where our company has been featured. And in the footer, we've got our copyright notice as well as a footer menu and a back to top scroller. The services page, you'll notice that we've got a sidebar module as well as some main content. You'll also notice that those 3 content modules are also at the bottom of this page. We're actually going to be setting these to show up on every page. On the Our Work page, we've got a couple of image samples of our work. Now these particular samples are actually images that come with the Joomla installation. You can see that we've got a thumbnail, and when you click on View Larger, it'll show you a larger version of the image. You'll also notice that we've also got some breadcrumbs up here at the top, so we can go back to our work and go check out some additional samples without having to use the main menu. On the common terms, we're using the definition list in HTML to provide some definitions for the different stages of development. You'll also notice in the building stages area that we've got an information callout in here as well. The callout can be used to draw extra attention to important points. You'll also notice that we've got the same sidebar that we've seen on previous pages as well. On the news feed, you'll see that we're using the RSS feed from the Joomla Developer Network that keeps us updated on the security news. We'll show you how to add that. And finally, the Contact Us page, which shows our address, some contact information, the ability to download that contact information as a vCard, and a contact form. On the right-hand side, we've also provided an additional client login. Let's take a quick look at this client login, shall we? I've already gone ahead and set up an additional user so we can take a look. Once a client logs in, they're presented with a little bit of information, a menu that includes this home page that we're currently at, as well as a price list, and a new module that shows the corporate salespeople that they can deal with. Now all this content in these sidebar items are hidden from general view, so unless you have a proper username and password, these are never going to get seen. Once your client is done with their information, they can simply click on Log Out. That's the website that we're going to be building. Are you ready to get started? Now, as you're following along here, for the sake of time, I'm going to be using some pre-prepared files with our content already in it. When you download the zip file from the website, it contains 2 folders, one of the actual content and one of the images. Again, to save some time, we're just going to be taking our information directly from here and copy and pasting it in. First thing that we need to do is log into our administrator panel. So go to yourdomain/administrator and you'll be presented with this login panel. Once logged in, you're presented immediately with the control panel again. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set our global configuration. Now Now we're not going to do too much in here. The first thing is we're going to make sure our site name is correct. If you're building your site on a hosting environment such as GoDaddy or HostGator, it's recommended that you put your site into offline mode so people can't actually see and watch your development process. As I'm using a local development environment for this, I'm going to leave this set to no. The next thing I'm going to do is quickly fill out my site meta description. When filling out your description, make sure you keep it fairly short. Anything more than 2 sentences and it's not going to get displayed anyway, so don't waste the time. I'm also going to throw in a couple of quick keywords in here as well. And that's all I really need to set up for the metadata settings. Under SEO settings, search engine friendly URLs is set to yes by default. We're just going to turn this to no and keep everything else at no for now. Once we've actually completed our website and tested it all out, we can then switch this back to yes and switch URL rewriting to yes as well. When you do this, make sure you check out the little note about renaming your htaccess or web config file to make sure your server doesn't cause any problems with these URLs. If this isn't done beforehand before you save your changes and refresh your page, you're going to end up with some errors. Next, I'm going to switch to the System tab. The only thing under here I'm going to change is the session settings. When doing development, I like to keep my session lifetime about 60 minutes so I don't have to keep logging in. And then I'm going to switch to my server tab. And the only thing I'm going to change here is the time zone. Once you've set your time zone, go ahead and click Save and Close. Once you've saved, you'll be brought back to the control panel and you'll notice that you've got a message saying that your configuration was successfully saved. The next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to install that template that we just got from UTheme. Go to Extension Manager. Once the Extension Manager is loaded, simply click on Browse, navigate to where you downloaded the template to and select it. Click Upload and Install. When it's done, you'll get a quick message saying that it's successful. Let's go set it up. Go to the Extensions menu and down to Template Manager. So under the Template Manager, you can see that the Bees2 default is currently the default template for the website. We're going to change that simply by clicking on the star next to the UMaster default theme. The next thing that we're going to do is click on the UMaster default name. We're brought to the Template Manager where you can see the options available for this template. First, we're under the General tab. We're going to leave Default Profile set to default. We want to make sure Dynamic Profiles is set to yes. We want to leave compression at none for right now. The upgrade page we're leaving as yes. What this does is if people come with Internet Explorer 6 or earlier, they're going to get a message asking them to upgrade to a recent browser to take the best advantage of the new web technologies. We're going to leave Twitter, Google, and Facebook buttons set to no. If you've got tracking code from Google Analytics so you're able to track your visitors, simply enter that code here. Next, we're going to switch to Profiles. Under the Profiles, we're going to leave the style set to default, the primary color and the secondary color left to blue and orange respectively. We're going to switch the body font from Arial to Maven Pro. We're going to switch the header font from Arial to Droid Sans. And we're going to change the menu font from Arial to Yanon Cafesats. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but close enough. Under the Content section, we're going to turn the date off. We're going to leave the to top scroller on. We're going to turn off warp branding. And we're going to leave system output set to yes. Under the layout section, we're going to change responsive layout to no and leave everything else as default. Once you're done, go up to the top and click Save and Close. We've now gone and set that third-party template as being our default template for the site. Because our website is currently in development mode, we're going to do one more thing here. We're going to go up to the Options button in the top right corner. This will pop open a model window. Under the Templates tab, we want to make sure Preview Module Positions is enabled. We'll see why a little bit later. We're just going to go to Save and Close. Let's take a look at what happens when we refresh our page. As you can see, that's quite a bit of difference, and we've got nothing on our site. Let's start getting some stuff in there so it starts looking like we want it to. First thing we're going to do is go back to the control panel.